Hi everyone, it's Teresa. Today I'm going to show you how to collage onto your laser cut elements. So if you're making any of the kits, or you just have laser cut elements, or one of the bigger kits that you just want to know how to get your paper onto them, this is the video for you. I have covered how to paint them in a previous video. I'll link that down below. So I've got two of them painted. I prefer having the back in a light color, so that when you collage, especially with tissue paper and napkins, the background goes quite see-through, and I prefer then to have a white base so that the pictures can show up nicely. But I am going to show you what it will look like if you do not paint your base, the wooden little base. It's just a different look. Okay, nothing wrong with it. You do not have to paint it. I just prefer to do it. Okay, so what you will need a gel medium, or a glue, or any acrylic based, water based glue, school glue, anything. You just need a glue. I prefer gel medium, so I'm using the Dina Wakley gel medium here. You need something to apply this with, so I prefer a sponge, or you can use your finger or a brush, whatever is your preference. And I also have a craft squeegee here. It's a little silicone squeegee. This just helps you get the paper nicely and even onto the wooden piece, depending on the size. On a small little piece like this, your fingers can work as well. On a much bigger piece, the craft squeegee is your best option, or a credit card. But I find sometimes that credit cards are too hard and not bendy enough, and they can actually tear your paper. Let's get going. Let's do the tree first. I'm just going to put some gel medium on there. I'm going to take my sponge. This is just a kitchen sponge, and I'm just making sure that there is gel medium all over. Then I'm going to take tissue paper, and let's try and get this nice piece of holly on here. I'm going to push that down. You can use little bits and pieces. Say for instance you have little bits and pieces of tissue paper like this. You can use them, and where they overlap, you'll just have more details in the background. So you can either use one solid piece, or you can use sorry, I'm just adding a little bit more here. It dried too quickly. Like you can see, I'm just using my finger. That works well. I think my brush was wet. Oh, my sponge was wet. So let's just add a little bit more glue. Let's get you on there. And then a very light layer over the top, and that is just to seal it. It's not necessary, but it works really well. There is a little bit of a white spot here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece that has got wording and just fill in that. We don't want that open spot there. So you can see that they layer very easily, because the background goes see-through once they get wet with the medium. So this is just going to go one side, and we're going to wait for this to dry. Then we're going to do the next one. So the next one I'm doing with a napkin. Now a napkin has 3 or 4 layers depending on the brand. So what you need to do is you need to take your piece of napkin and just get a corner and just start scratching with your nail, and you will see it will start to separate. So you want this printed piece, but just make sure that this is the printed piece and there isn't 1 or 2 layers still stuck to it. There we go. So there is my napkin, and I'm 100% sure there's nothing else stuck on the back of this, because I can see the print now on the back side as well. And again, we're going to add gel medium. I'm just doing it with my finger. You can do it with a brush, your craft squeegee, anything that is comfortable for you to work with. Now, napkins are super thin. So what you do is you start with them up in the air, touch onto one side and gently press and roll the top layer down, and then you can take your finger or craft squeegee and just work out the crinkles just like that, and that's perfect. Now this is a very thin paper, so I am not gonna mess too much with it now. I really like the way it's looking, so I'm gonna leave that to dry, and then we're gonna do the last one. Now this is a printable that I printed on normal copier paper. This printable is available in my shop. There will be a link below. It's 4 pages that you get. So I really liked this part. And because this is copier paper, it's printed with a laser printer, the ink won't run. If it was done with a bubble jet printer, the ink might run depending how much moisture you put on top of it. If you put moisture on top of it, meaning a gel medium or a glue, and you keep rubbing, the ink will run, specifically with bubble jets, not with laser. But you can work your way around that, and I'm going to show you how. So we're going to put our gel medium down, or glue, whatever you're using. Nice thick layer, because this is a much thicker paper. So now we want a nice thick layer. Paper is gonna go on top, and I'm gonna press real hard because I want to see the edges, and this is gonna help you when you remove the excess paper. Okay, make sure that it's stuck down, that bit is not sticking. And now I can go over the top with a very light layer to seal it. If you did a bubble jet printer, then skip this step. But with laser printer, you can go over the top. This isn't necessary, but it does seal the paper. If you have one of those bubble jet printers with it's one of the more modern printers, have a very, their ink can handle a tiny bit of moisture. Then you can take a brush, something similar to the one that I've got here in the water. You can take a brush like this, put a blob of gel medium or glue down, wet your brush, and very gently in one direction, not going back and forth over the same area, just one direction, one quick layer to seal. So now this is going to lie down and dry, and I'm going to get some other ones that I was working on earlier that is dry now. So here's one with tissue paper, and here is one with a napkin that I overlapped in the napkin here, so you can see I overlapped there. So now I'm going to show you how to get rid of the excess on the edges. This is still very wet. Oh wait, here's another one that I did. Okay, so this one is already dry. You can see it's smaller pieces of tissue paper, and I did overlap them. That piece was an extra piece that came. As you can see that they overlap really nicely and the background disappears. So this is what you need the nail file or emery board for. So we're going to go around the edge, and that cuts the paper away, and it gives you a beautiful edge. You can go and tear it with your fingers, but you're not going to get a very solid, nice edge. Can you see there's always pieces of paper? Look at this edge here. Nice solid edge. So you're going to go with this one, going to go around the edge and pull away your excess paper. There we go. And that's how easy the excess paper is removed. They might, depending on the shape, like especially that Christmas tree, you might struggle around some of the corners. You might need to go in with your fingers and tear. And then for the hole, all you need is a really sharp pencil. There we go. So let's do this as the napkin. It works exactly the same. The only thing with the napkin is you need to let it dry a fair bit. Otherwise, it will just slide off your little wooden element. Napkins or they will just tear completely off. They're so thin. This gives you a really nice edge. There we go. And again for the whole. There's 2 of them ready for the next step. Okay, so let's go to this one. This was the copier paper. This is still very wet. If you put your hand on it and it feels cool to the touch, then you know the gel medium is still wet. If it feels just like the ambient temperature or your body temperature, then you know the gel medium is dry. So with this one, it might not tear very easily because it's still very wet. So you can see you can tear with your fingers. Okay, doesn't give you the best edge, but if you use the nail file, gives you beautiful edge. Okay, so it's not completely dry, so it's lifting a bit. It's best to leave them till they're dry. So you can see why we had to push it nicely, so you can see the shape. It just helps you so you can see where the shape is and where to file. Almost done with this one, and then we've got 3 for the next step. There we go. And again, find the little hole, poke it through. This one is ready for the next step. See you in the next video.